Top 10 Scary Stories. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Eminent Top 10. Who knows what's lurking out of sight? Alright, we've all been there, home alone, lights turned off, snuggled in bed, but then there's a noise, a thud maybe, which makes you jolt your eyes open in terror. Yes, being spooked while you're home alone is easily one of the most relatable things out there. When home alone, the smallest noise or something out of place can get a person's mind racing. Usually it's nothing, but without anyone else around, it's easy to overthink. What if there was actually something going on? The people in these stories know it's possible. We've found the best top 10 scary stories related to scary experiences people have had while home alone. Let's dive in. Number 10. This nightmare-inducing situation. It was about 8:30 p.m. and I heard the front door open. I called out from my room, asking why my mom and dad were home only half an hour after they left for dinner. I almost shit my pants and straight up jumped out of my bedroom window when a random male voice replied, "What? There's somebody in here?" Turns out it was somebody who got hired to check on one of our neighbor's dogs when they were on vacation, and he got the wrong house address. But the raw fear that gripped me when I heard his voice still gives me nightmares. Number 9. They were surrounded. When I was about 6 or 7, my father left my 9-year-old sister and me home alone for the first time. It was early evening in the fall. He was only going to be gone for about 40 minutes. But maybe 20 minutes after he left, a pickup truck sped into our driveway. Now it was getting dark, so we could only make out shadows. But as soon as the pickup stopped in our driveway, about 6 guys all wearing dark hooded sweatshirts hopped out of the bed of the truck. One grabbed what was clearly an axe. Another got something that looked like a chainsaw, but we couldn't be certain. The 6 guys then fanned out around our house. My sister and I ran to opposite ends of the house, reporting back on where they were. "He went through the gate. He's on the porch," I shouted. "2 disappeared behind the garage. The others are by the front door," she screamed back. We were surrounded and scared, so we ran upstairs and entered the panic code on our alarm system. Number 8. Mr. Jerkins. It was January in Minnesota. There was about a foot of snow on the ground, and my parents were out at a bar, and my brother was at a friend's house, but would come home later. I was in my living room watching TV, and I heard a small knocking coming from the basement. So I walked down to investigate all over the basement, only to find nothing. Not thinking much of it, I walked back upstairs to the living room to continue watching. About 5 minutes later, I heard a loud crash from the basement and what sounded like a door opening. At this point, I was pretty worried. I started to make my way down the stairs terrified, and as I went down, I thought maybe my brother was home without me knowing, so I called his name. Nothing. I called again, and nothing, so I kept slowly moving down the stairs only to find there were drawers open and desks, boxes opened, and a few plastic bins and containers all knocked down and tipped over. But worst of all, my back glass door was wide open with footprints leading out the door. I shut it, called my parents, and when they came, my mom called the police while my dad followed them. According to him, they went over my fence and to the road behind the house where they stopped. My guess is he was picked up, but we and the police never found out if it was planned or just a random house they picked out to rob. Absolutely terrifying. Number 7. Don't answer the phone. I spoke to the ghost of my great-grandmother on the telephone. I didn't recognize her voice because she had died over 60 years before I was born, but a very elderly-sounding lady called and calmly told me to tell Essie it is time to come home now. I kept telling her she had the wrong number, but she was adamant that I pass along the message. 2 hours later, my grandmother's assisted living home called and told us that my grandmother, named Esther, had passed away in her sleep. My mother had died when she was 16, and Essie was my grandmother's childhood nickname. This was 25 years ago, and thinking about it still makes the hair on my neck stand on end. Number 6. The close call. The lights turned off all at once while I was in the kitchen. It was pitch black. I heard the door open. For some reason, instead of thinking power outage, my brain went, someone has cut the power and is coming to kill me. I grabbed the landline, a knife, and was crouched behind the kitchen counter hearing steps come through the house, trying to breathe as quietly as possible. Then I hear my mom go, "Hello, anyone home?" By chance, the power went out at the exact moment she came in through the door. That would have been an awkward hospital trip. Number 5. The next time she saw him, it was his mugshot. This was about 2 years ago. My parents had just left, and a car pulled up outside. A guy came up to the door and knocked. I opened the door and talked to him through the screen. He said he had a package for my mom or dad to sign, and if I could open up now. I told him they weren't home at the moment. Then he said the creepiest thing. He said, "Just open the door," and he used my real name. That put chills down my spine, and I went into the bathroom and locked the door. I could hear him jiggling the door, and then him going down the stairs back to the car. I waited in the bathroom for like 3 hours until my parents got home. When they arrived, we called the police, but nothing ever came of it. I never saw him again after that, but I think I recognized his face on the news a while ago. A similar looking man got arrested. Number 4. Paranormal activity. I was watching TV on the couch with the dog around noon or so. Suddenly she perks up, the hair on her back stands on end, and she begins snarling at the corner of the room. This dog, who was a previous abuse victim and scared of her own shadow, hesitant to ever bark or attack, was suddenly in a position to lunge. Right at that moment, I hear clear, defined footsteps walk across my roommate's room across the hall, right in my line of vision. No one is there, but I'm looking directly at the source of the sound. Immediately following this, the room got really cold for a few seconds, and it took her a while to lay back down. I have never had any other paranormal experiences in that house, nor really ever in my life, the exception being a house I nannied in for a while. The suddenness of it really freaked me out. Number 3. Freeze. It was raining heavily outside. I was sitting on one of the chairs, looking out the window, and then suddenly, I heard something walking on the floor above me. I thought it was just a sound in my mind I was creating because I was already scared of being home alone. So I ignored it. About 5 minutes later, I hear someone knock on the window. I thought maybe it was a bird who hit the window or something. But then suddenly, this huge floor lamp fell right on me, and I sat there for a solid 10 minutes trying to understand what exactly happened. The lamp was perfectly fine. I still don't understand how it fell. Definitely the creepiest alone moment of my life. Number 2. Rain, rain, go away. It was raining pretty hard one night, and I was about to go to bed. Our dog decided to start going nuts, barking at the corner of the family room. We had just moved in, so there wasn't anything in there, but she kept constantly barking at nothing. I tried to pull her away, but she wasn't having any of it. She started showing her teeth and snarling, which she never does. I figured there must be an animal outside, so I turned on the deck lights. The deck is off the family room, and peered outside. Nope, nothing. I wasn't able to go outside because of the rain, and I didn't see anything anyway. So I dragged the dog to the bedroom, but she just won't shut up. Finally, I decided to get my shoes and umbrella on and walk around the house. I found one of my neighbors curled up along the side of the deck trying to protect himself from the rain. He's disabled and a little slow. He usually goes out for walks in the neighborhood. He got caught in the rain and couldn't find his house. If my dog hadn't gone nuts, he might have been out there all night, and who knows what could have happened. Number 1. Hide and seek. When I was around 11 or so, my siblings and I were all playing hide and seek in my house. Now, I know under the bed is the first place you always look for, but for whatever reason, I decided to hide under my little sister's bed in her dark room. So, I get down on the floor and squeeze under and wait for the seeker to come looking for me. As I'm laying there waiting, I hear a little girl giggle next to me. I could clearly see I was the only one under the bed, and I was the only one in the room. And I shot out from under the bed and told everyone what happened, and that was the end of the game. Have you ever experienced a situation where you have goosebumps and freeze? Or any situation where you absolutely think, this is the end? Let us know in the comments section below. Believe it or not, all of us have experienced something strange. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit the bell icon button so that you'll get a notification whenever we post a new video.